In 2001, I became the founder of an organization, a Singapore organization, called the Animal Concerns Research and Education Society, or ACRES for short. It's an animal rights organization and an animal welfare organization. So we founded it, 4 of us founded it, 2 of the original founders remain, but the organization has now grown so much. I'm the president of that organization now. And ACRES in 2007 set up a wildlife rescue center in Singapore. We've had ups and downs. We got cheated by a contractor on the land, and it's now in a court case. So we've had a very rough time of getting the center running, but it's in a very good place, and we've come incredibly far in those 10 years that we've been on. We are concentrated mainly in Singapore, but we're opening branches in Laos, for instance, where we've just rescued a lot of bears from the wildlife trade. Singapore happens to be one of the centers for wildlife trade in Asia. Most of the wildlife that comes through from Indonesia, Malaysia, sometimes passes through Singapore. The amount of timber trade in Singapore is extraordinary. The amount of wildlife trade in Singapore is extraordinary. The laws are there, but it's very difficult for the police to enforce them. So a lot of the wild animals that are rescued from the stray or are notified, most of them in the past used to be put down because there was no place for them to go. People send them to the zoo, but the zoo doesn't have enough space to rehabilitate them, nor are they a dedicated wildlife rescue center. The zoo is basically an entertainment center for people where animals are kept as living museums, if you like. So personally, I'm not a fan of the zoo. Meanwhile, we're helping the rest of Asia, wildlife centers in Indonesia, Malaysia, animal welfare organizations from the whole region. We're giving them best practices, we're learning from them as well as transferring our knowledge, because we have a lot of expertise in communication, in brand building, and also in zoo checks, and so on and so forth. So it's a big issue. I mean, if you like to look it up, it's acres.org.sg. I also help out, just recently we just did a campaign for the anti-death penalty group in Singapore, trying to abolish death penalty in Singapore. I also help, there's a good friend of mine who's involved in Sea Shepherd, and I've been a fan of Sea Shepherd for a long time. I'm a supporter. So I do work for him when he approaches me, and I also support it when I help. I used to be a nature guide. So I taught myself botany for 4 years. My specialization is pollination biology. So sometimes I do walks and give guided talks on pollination, on nature, plants, wildlife, how the interconnectedness of birds and plants, and how everything's interconnected, the endangered animals in Singapore and Malaysia and so on. So there's a lot of stuff.